Today's live daily news, the Air Force's Chief of Staff made a visit to Goodfellow Air Force Base. Meanwhile, one man is on the run from the law in town while another has been captured. And we get ready to say goodbye to longtime County Judge Steve Floyd. Plus, Ryan Newlin with ERA and Newlin and Company is back on the show for an update on local real estate. All this and more. I'm Joe Hyde, and this is Live. Spend your Christmas in style with these super cute Christmas tees with catchy designs with sayings like, "Slay girl, slay," and "Merry Christmas, y'all." You can be the most fashionable woman at the Christmas party. Get these shirts only at Myers Drug and Boutique, located in downtown San Angelo. They're at the corner of Chadbourne and Beauregard. You can shop there Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays 10 to 2. See more at myersboutique.com. We start the show today with some bittersweet news. The end of County Judge Steve Floyd's era is here. Judge Floyd is set to retire at the end of the month, with a large party scheduled for Friday. With that, San Angelo Live's editor-in-chief Yantis Green sat down with Judge Floyd for a deep dive into Floyd's tenure. During the 9 years Judge Floyd served as Tom Green County's judge through times like coronavirus and the Bradford tornado, and that big giant freeze in January 2021, and much more. For the full story, check out the article only on and exclusively on sanangelolive.com. In other local news, the San Angelo Crime Stoppers over the weekend sent out a whereabouts person's notice on 50-year-old Roberto Arambula. We told you last week that Arambula was arrested in September for stealing items from Walmart and then running from the police. New information revealed that Arambula had been bonded out on November 10th, and he hasn't checked in since about November 14th with his bondsman. Arambula is no stranger to the news, as he was acquitted for the murder of Raheem Talton in 2021. If you have information on Arambula's whereabouts, contact the San Angelo Police Department. The revolving door at the Tom Green County Detention Facility is never ending. Even though they're looking for Arambula's, law enforcement were able to capture a what they call a perv on the local most wanted list. Kyle Doty has been arrested by the Tom Green County Sheriff's Office over the weekend. On December 7th, Doty was named as the most wanted subject by the Sheriff's Office for failing to register as a sex offender. For more on this story, once again, go to sanangelolive.com. Four-star General Charles Q. Brown, known as CQ Brown, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, was on the grounds of Goodfellow Air Force Base touring the facilities today. The Chief of Staff of the Air Force is a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the highest-ranking uniform officer of the 685,000-person organization. General Brown is not a stranger to West Texas. The F-16 instructor pilot and fighter wing commander is a 1984 graduate of Texas Tech University. Having the chief visit Goodfellow Air Force Base is a big deal. Congressman August Pfluger said at a press conference held just outside the main gate of the base at noon. Pfluger was flanked by Tom Green County Judge Steve Floyd, San Angelo Mayor Brenda Gunner, banker Mike Boyd, who serves as commissioner on Governor Abbott's Texas Military Preparedness Commission, Judge-elect Lane Carter, and President of the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce, Walt Koenig. The County Judge Office manages the State of Texas Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant, called DEAG. It's a program that supplements the federal government, where Pfluger, our congressman, fights for more appropriations to fund infrastructure and resources for the Goodfellow Air Force Base mission. The base trains firefighters as well as intel officers and technicians for every branch of the military. Pfluger said the primary focus right now is procuring funding to improve dormitories for the firefighting school. Boyd agreed and added that the next DEAG grant application We'll also focus on better security for the South Gate at Kearney Boulevard and South Chadbourne Street. And finally, if you enjoyed the rain this weekend, then don't worry, more is coming tonight. Expect showers to be here between midnight and 3 a.m., and this lighter chance is after this. For the rest of the week, expect the sun to come out despite the sunny days. Highs will only be in the 50s. As for lows this week, it looks like the coldest day this week will be on Saturday or Thursday, with lows near freezing. Before we go, August Pfluger had some things to say at Goodfellow Air Force Base, and I thought if I can get Matt Trammell to find the thing, let's go ahead and let's flip to August Pfluger for a second, talking about the Chief of Staff of the Air Force at Goodfellow.
We're talking to the Chief of Staff about specifically today when it comes to federal funding are the dorms. Housing is an issue for our military bases, regardless of the service throughout this country. It's an issue here. We have a wonderful partnership with Angelo State University, which is another point to the previous question, where the university has actually allowed up to about 100 beds to be used by the base. And so this is one of the things that we're talking to the chief about. We will continue to push for about 400 beds, a 400-bed dorm to be built here to keep up with the quality of life that the mayor was talking about. It is so critical. And secondly, the facilities that we're training when it comes to intelligence, some are in good repair, some are able to keep up with the times, and others need to be improved and need to be rebuilt. And so we're going to continue to push for that to make sure that the Chief of Staff is aware that those priorities remain on their list.
Thank you, August Pfluger. That was outside of the main gate of Goodfellow Air Force Base today, where the Chief of Staff of the Air Force was inside the facility touring the various training squadrons that are there. Well, now this week is the biggest weekend in Texas high school football. It's the championships. To see how we got here, let's go to our Cover One analyst, James Bellini. James?
All good things come to an end, and this week, football season ends for high school. But we have one more slate of games, the Texas High School State Championships that are taking place at Jerry's World in Arlington. We've had the six-man teams for a while now. Benjamin will be taking on Lorraine at 11 a.m., and Abbott will face Westbrook at 2 p.m. Both of these games will take place on Wednesday. The 2A games are Albany and Mart and Hawley and Refugio. The Lions-Panthers game will take place Wednesday at 7 p.m., and the Bearcats will take on the Bobcats on Thursday at 11 a.m. in the morning. For 3A, it's Gunter and Poth and Brock and Franklin. Both these games will take place on Thursday at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock respectively. On Friday, both 4A games will be played. That's Carthage versus Wimberley and China Springs versus Bernie at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. respectively. The 5A D2 game, South Oak Cliff against Port Neches Grove, will take place Friday at 7 p.m., while the 5A1 game, Aledo versus College Station, will take place Saturday at 11 a.m. Saturday is the last day of the state championships, and both 6A divisions will be featured. It's DeSoto versus Austin Vandergrift that will be played at 3, and Duncanville versus Galena North Shore are playing each other at 7 p.m. Cover 1 will have highlights, coaches' interviews, scores, and write-ups of the state games. And our Cover 1 show will take place after the Albany Mart game, as well as Hawley Refugio, Gunter Poth, and Brock Franklin. Also, keep it tuned into SandRLive.com, as we'll have our all Cover 1 teams and a special show next week and give all these kids the recognition they deserve.
For more than 25 years, Carpetech has been serving our customers and communities with floor care and emergency restoration services. I'm Cade Simmons. Thank you for welcoming Carpetech and my family to the Concho Valley. We look forward to serving you.
Welcome back to the show. We have a very special guest today. He is a reoccurring guest. He's been on the show a number of times. It's Mr. Ryan Newlin with Newlin ERA.
ERA Newlin and Company.
ERA Newlin. I did that last time. I think I had that on the
people
even too.
I think my wife still says that, so not a big deal.
There you go. So what we're talking about today is we're getting an update on the market. It's been a long year, but it's December now.
Yeah.
So first question right off the bat, where's the market today versus where it was January 1st of last year?
Last year? Okay.
This year, I guess, January 1st.
Well, so we have a lot more houses for sale than we did in January. You know, we got through these last two COVID years. Mm-hmm. Not much for sale. Prices went up. interest rates were cheap, and it was just gangbusters. Interest rates have gone up, although they've dropped in the last 2 weeks. So right now we've got 335 houses for sale in San Angelo, which is, up 200 from the beginning of the year, but it's still down from what we would normally have this time of year.
So nearly 400 families, I guess, are trying to get out of their home, maybe move into a new one. Where do you think people? What's the most typical thing that people do? I guess when they are leaving a home. I guess.
Well, there's people that are leaving town. There might be investors that have had these properties rented out. The prices are high. They're like, let's just get rid of the house. There's a lot of vacant homes on the market. 85 of those 335 houses are brand new. So
okay.
A lot of new construction out there.
A lot of new construction, I think, because since I've lived in San Angelo, they've been talking about housing problems and stuff like that.
We still have, even though it seems like we have a lot of houses, I think San Angelo we're short of the number of houses. We
still are?
Just like across the country. But
do you think that's because of all the apartment complexes and stuff like that? I mean, right now I'm sitting on a story that's in our new building permit saying it's another apartment that's about to come. So I mean, it's just apartments after apartments after apartments. Is that what's causing?
Well, we really for San Angelo, we don't have many new apartment complexes. We've gotten a few in the last 5-10 years, but apartments here are pretty old. So
yeah, I would say that most time if you get an apartment around here, if it's not one of these new builds, it's going to be from the 80s.
Yeah,
90s,
yeah,
right?
it's 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. So I just think there's still there's a lot of when these kids grow up in San Angelo and they decide to go out on their own. Guess what they need? They need a house, and then their brother moves out. He needs a house. So we're always going to be a little short on houses, I think, in this town.
So with all the stuff that's on the market right now, I mean, I'm kind of a young guy, kind of a young person. I'm still renting, but looking to maybe upgrade into one of these new homes. Right now, budgets are tight, money's cheap, but there's still some nice houses that are affordable on the market.
There's affordable houses out there. So I broke down those 335 houses. There's about 150 of those are between 100 and 300. So you might not think 289 is not like just cheap. Although the average price of a house in San Angelo this year is about $250,000.
So if you're going to have if you want to live in an average or above average place, you got to be willing to pay about that $250,000 range.
No, you might need an older house. You might need a house that wasn't built 5-6 years ago. You might need an older house. It might need to be repainted. It might need flooring. You can still find deals under $200,000 in this town.
And I'm guessing that's kind of since that is the average price. I'm guessing those are kind of just the average day-to-day deals that are going on with people who are looking for houses in San Angelo. Those are the people that
there's just a lot of the new houses. The prices are gotten so high that it brings that average up. So, but there's still 80 houses for sale between 100 and 200. So even if you're you might not be looking to break the bank. You might just want to get out of that apartment. Stop paying your rent to somebody else.
Put it in your own
pocket. And put it in your own pocket. Right. You're going to pay some of that to the bank. They're going to make interest.
Right.
But in the long run, you're going to pay down that mortgage amount, and the prices are going to continue to go up. So in 3 years, you're going to be ahead of the game, rather than waiting 3 years to do it.
There you go. And let's talk a little bit about those interest rates. I know they're kind of crazy right now. Things are pretty high. And I asked you before we started, I'm like, is this the highest you've seen them here in San Angelo? And you said it started in 2008. So let's break it down for me.
No, 06. I know it was like there was 7/8. Or in the 2006 to 2008 range. So it's been higher just in the last 15 years.
And what are we at right now?
It's hard to say exactly, but the national average is about 7. So it was 7.5 2 weeks ago. So now it's down to 7. Although I hear people in town getting less than 7. There was a lender the other day that was quoting people without buying points or buy downs. He was quoting 5.8. So
things are kind of stabling out.
For sure.
I mean, inflation's nothing is a supply chain and stuff.
Coca-Cola's not cheaper today.
Yeah. So why are these interest rates going down?
Well, the government, however it's ran at the top,
the feds, yeah,
they've got a fight right now going between the inflation. So they're raising them to slow down the economy,
right? And
at the same time, when there's a typical recession, they lower them. So they're kind of at some sort of battle right there going on between. We need to go up because we need to battle inflation, and we need to keep them stable. to fend off a recession that we may or may not be in right now.
Got you. So I know that those interest rates, I mean, definitely affect, people who are having to try to move out of the apartments into those things. You guys do have some rent houses, but as we talked before, everybody, I mean, I got it. My rent got raised.
Yep.
I mean, I know everybody that I've talked to, their rent got raised.
Taxes went up in San Angelo. We talked about that on here before, so that's getting passed along.
Yeah. So how important is that to remember when your rent keeps getting raised and raised and raised when it comes to buying a home versus renting a home? What's the important thing to talk about?
Well, that once you if you're living somewhere for a year by year, and your rent goes up $100 every year, when you get a 30-year mortgage, your payment stays the same. So you can kind of budget that out a little better. Plus, you're putting money in what I call savings, because when you build equity in a house, it's really saving money for when you sell it.
To put yourself in another position.
To put yourself in another house, to, buy
it's the old Dave
camper
Ramsey
van and take off.
It's the old Dave Ramsey thing. You buy a box to buy a shack, to buy a house, to buy a mansion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of things.
Well, I think that still, like even Dave Ramsey talks about it, but more millionaires are made in this country off owning real estate than any other thing that they could do.
Yeah, and I mean it's not dropping. That's kind of the thing with the rent is like, once they charge you $1,500, they're never going to come back and say, hey, this time it'll be $1,400.
And they know you don't want to move.
Right.
So they know they can get you to
That's
$1,600.
what happened to me because I was like, I'm going to sign another 6-year lease because I was like, I'm not trying to move
and just start
again.
adding that up.
Yeah.
What you pay per month, per year on that rent that you do not get anything out of it.
Right.
Absolutely. Other than it's if you're bouncing around and you think you might move to Dallas next year, it is good to rent. But if you're going to be in San Angelo,
I've been stuck here for a little bit.
If you can hang with Joe Hyde for a couple of years, you're probably going to be in San Angelo.
Exactly. San Angelo is kind of, I say this a lot when people who come to college here, and I'm like, just watch out because San Angelo has this thing where it'll grab you and never let you go.
Yeah.
So definitely. Let's talk about something bigger, though. We talked about, you can move into the shack to the house to the mansion. So what's the mansions looking like in San Angelo? Let's talk about those big boys.
Well, there's a lot of houses for sale that are high dollar. I did the number, there's, I think, what was it, 100 houses, like $300,000 to $700,000 right now for sale. So the crazy thing is, it's not, there used to be just a few 500 plus sell a year. Now they're selling all the time.
Is it because of the houses are so expensive now that those houses aren't exactly the same $1 million houses that you've seen in the past?
It's just prices.
It's just prices, yeah.
A house that sold for $700,000 in 2018 is now $1 million. Or, it was 4 and now it's 7. So
we got any $1 million houses on the market right now?
There's some $1 million houses.
Let's see.
I think there was $2 million houses sold in November.
Oh, really?
So a lot of these numbers, I didn't do them all down for this. But I've started doing a real estate podcast.
Yeah.
And so, on those, I'm doing them quick, 3-4 minutes a piece.
Yeah, if you have, a car ride home, it's worth a thing.
And
we'll drop the link in. We'll drop the link in.
Yeah, trying to go through specific stats on specific neighborhoods, or what November look like. What's December going to look like?
Yeah.
I
really like the December outlook one. It was kind of like you're kind of just predicting.
I'm trying to guess what's going to happen. So
yeah. No, well, that's kind of important.
So I look at years back, see what sold. I think we're in a market right now. It's close to 2010 through 2019. Pretty much all those years are similar to what we're going through right now.
So you would say things are kind of getting back to normal, I guess.
I think more normal.
Or 20 and 21 back to normal, I guess.
20 and 21 were abnormally busy. And it was that way all over the country, but it was here too.
Busy, houses getting moved fast?
Lots of houses selling.
Why is that? You think everybody was just so buckled down in their house that they were like, I want to sell this place. I hate it. I've been here for too long.
I don't know. It was kind of it was a supply and demand. So, even there wasn't much for sale. And so it felt really busy. But, we can look back at the numbers, and there was more houses that sold last year than this year. Although we're going to sell more dollar volume this year than we did last year, which is wild.
Yeah, well, those are those prices going up for you. Well, Ryan, this has always been good talking about the real estate market coming in for December. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else that you wanted to maybe
I'll
throw
just go
up in
through
there?
the last few things I had on here because I think they're good. But city assistance or assistance with down payments, closing costs. There's a lot of programs going on right now. There's banks offering 100% loans. The city has a good grant program for down payment and closing costs. And then there's most of the local lenders have these state programs for grants for down payment.
And so talk about that. What is what are those for? Is that kind of free money that's helping people get into the houses?
Yes.
Really?
And so, like, the city's got a program where they've got like government funds, and you've got to qualify, and you can't make over a certain amount of money, but you can qualify to. They'll cover down payment and closing costs up to like $15,000.
Wow.
If you qualify,
that basically will put you into your home.
it'll put you in your home.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some state programs that do the same thing.
Wow.
There's like a T-Shack.
You can stack them up or what?
Huh?
You can stack them up or what?
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, when you go to college, you just start stacking them up, and hey.
No, it'd be nice.
Yeah,
but just call our office. You can get that information.
Gotcha.
You got to just
You
talk
got a
to
phone
those.
number?
325-481-0500.
There you go.
So those are and then one other thing, talked about the podcast, these wholesale scammers. We've had like 3 of these come through our office, so I want to kind of help remind people.
Are these like when you see those posters on the telephone poles that
Well,
are like,
who knows?
We buy houses, call
No,
this
no,
strange
a lot of
number?
those guys are investors. What
Okay.
these are just, they're out of town folks.
Okay.
That I think they watched a lot of late night TV commercials, learned how to do these wholesale deals. Wholesale is a legit program.
Uh-huh.
But what they do that kind of defrauds the public is they'll say, "Hey, Miss Seller, do you want to sell your house?" She's like, "Yes." They say, "All right, we'll give you $75,000. We'll close in 30 days."
Okay.
So she signs a contract thinking she's getting $75,000 in 30 days. She starts making plans. What they don't tell her and what's in that contract is they're not actually going to buy it. They're going to shop her house on Zillow. They're going to make her let other people come inside and look at it. And they're going to try to sell it to those people for $100.
Right. They're just
And they're going to do a
flip it.
simultaneous close, and they'll make 25.
Yeah, off
And
of
so if that doesn't happen, guess what? They don't close on her house. Whatever plans she's made to get her 75,000,
left,
it
yeah.
ain't going to happen, and they don't
Right.
really care. So
Wow, that's
just-
crazy. And how do you know if those people are?
Well,
I mean, you
it's-
just how do you tell the difference between one
I
of those
would
and just a
call
realtor?
up any dang realtor in this town and run it by them before signing any contract, especially if it's less than 5 pages.
I mean, they're
long.
like specific businesses that they're saying they're working for.
They are. They're
yeah.
legit people.
I mean,
and
I'm just wondering
and
if
that
this is
person
how,
might-
how do you tell between them and just a regular?
It's not a real
estate
it's
agent.
It's not a real estate contract. It's 2 pages long.
Oh,
and
okay,
not
okay.
10.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I say run it by someone before you sign a contract.
Always.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It more than likely is.
So,
I mean,
but
that's
yeah,
just
I'm just
the
tired.
cold
I'm just
hard
tired of seeing them come through with people that call us and say, "Hey, what do I do?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, send us what you signed, and they're locked in for 60, 90 days with this person.
And
that
then what
may or
if they
may
don't
not-
sell? They just rip
they
up the
just-
contract,
Yep,
move on.
goes off. Yep.
It's quickly easy money scam though.
So
There
watch
you
out for
go.
those.
Yep. All right. Well, Ryan, this has been fun. Anytime that we'll probably call you back in next month.
I'll be
get a
back.
little, get a
I'll
little
be back.
update, at least in the first quarter. Talk about a little real
Yeah.
estate. Is there anything else?
That's
There
it.
we go.
All
Perfect.
good, Matt.
Don't forget to check out Ryan Newlin's podcast. It's on Apple Podcast and Spotify. What's it called?
San Angelo Real Estate Update.
San Angelo Real Estate
You can
Update.
search that
Yeah.
or my name. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
comes up.
it'll definitely pull up there. So, like I said, we'll drop it in the comments so that everybody can see it. This has been Ryan Newlin with ERA Newlin and Company. Got it
There
right
you go.
that time. We will go back to the studio now with the guys there. When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Well, welcome back. Thanks, Ryan and Matt, for a great interview about San Angelo real estate. This end of the podcast or end of the show that we do here is all freelance. There's no script. There's no teleprompters, anything like that. We can talk about whatever we want to. Usually, we tell you to follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and watch our website, sanangelolive.com. I want to talk to you about something else that's kind of interesting to me. I don't know if you've been watching the new Elon Musk Twitter. But Elon Musk Twitter is the best thing that's happened in this country in probably 2 decades. So what was going on? What was going on prior to Elon Musk taking control of Twitter? Of course, he spent $44 billion to do it. Was the left wing of our country took control of a very giant platform and created what I call confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is like when you assume everyone else thinks this way, so maybe I ought to think this way. And a lot of people, we're all too busy working and trying to make money and trying to live. We don't have time to keep up with all the politics, so we just think, well, the general gist of our country is we're going this direction, or we're doing this. This is a good policy. And those things were not what was happening. What Twitter was doing was manipulating its platform to make very left-wing policy positions look like they were popular, and so that everyone was kind of going along with the sheep, so to speak. And meanwhile, they were making other things that were not in the left-wing side of the issues, right-wing things. They're saying they're unsafe or they're evil, and you need to stay away from that, and they're trying to destroy our country and all those kinds of things. Well, what Elon did, he basically ripped the curtains back and showed us the Wizard of Oz. And now we know that a lot of the platform and what was coming out of that platform was manipulated by a bunch of left-wing Twitter employees who worked there before Elon fired them all. So it's a wonderful thing. If you haven't logged on to Twitter, at least try it out and go see what the trending topics are now. They're not what they used to be. It's not transgender stuff. It's not crazy left-wing crap. Instead, it's kind of like what you and I probably talk about. I won't say over the breakfast table, but we talk about at lunch with our friends and our and the fellas, that kind of thing. So it's a good thing that things have kind of shaken out a little bit. We'll see. We'll continue to watch what's going on. So because of what's happening with Twitter, the traffic on Twitter has gone up. So more and more people are kind of, checking it out and see what's going on. And we've had to kind of adjust our content strategy to start incorporating more Twitter. We've noticed that since the takeover and since these changes have taken place, the engagement on San Angelo Live content on Twitter has actually increased. It's gotten better for us. At the same time, we see a lot of strange things happening on Facebook. So Facebook is becoming kind of like the old way of doing it, building that confirmation bias toward a political goal is what they seem to be doing. We'll see stories on Facebook that are our number one viewed stories on San Angelo Live, because we have website stats, but the stories, as we post them on Facebook, will get hardly any engagement or hardly any click-throughs. So we're wondering if some types of stories, for example, are getting shadow banned on Facebook, while a lot of our traffic is direct or from Google search, those kinds of things. The other traffic sources are actually amping up how many people are actually reading those articles. One of the topics that seems to be demoted a lot on Facebook are every morning, Yanta Screen, our editor-in-chief, arrives at work and he takes all the U.S. Border Patrol or the CBP press releases and starts putting them up. And we think those are getting demoted that allow us to know what's happening on our southern border. All that information is official information from the Border Patrol itself. So it's not like we're opining anything. It's just the way it is. But we feel like Facebook is probably shadow banning that kind of content. But it's on our website, and you go to our website. In light of the shadow banning and the way confirmation bias seems to be working in our society, I've decided that we're going to relaunch the San Angelo Live daily email. And you can subscribe to the email. If you get the real estate email that we send out every Sunday, you're already subscribed. If you've unsubscribed, you can still resubscribe on our website. But we're going to start that email probably tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit different format from before, but the idea is we want you to be able to see in one picture, one snapshot of what the news in San Angelo, Texas, and what news we published that day was. So I'm promising you right here on our live TV news show, and we're talking live right now. There's no script or anything like that. I promise you right now that we're going to have that email start tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't seen it yet, just go to our website. There's a form on just about every page where you can subscribe to the live daily new email. Anyway, this has been San Angelo Live Daily News. It's a live stream, generally at 4 o'clock. We're sorry a little bit late today. We had a lot of video to put together, so we're running a little bit late today. But we're live streamed every afternoon, weekdays, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and of course on sanangelolive.com itself. I hope to see you tomorrow. Until tomorrow, have a great day.